Ever wondered how websites are built? Every time you click on a link or type a URL, you're interacting with the work of web developers. Web development, in essence, is the process of creating a website or web application. It's the technological wizardry that transforms a design concept into a fully functional, interactive online experience. Web development is a broad field, but it primarily breaks down into two main aspects. First, there's the front end, also known as client-side development. This is the part of the website that you see and interact with directly. It's all about how the website looks, feels, and how user-friendly it is. Then there's the back end, or server-side development. This is where the data is stored and managed. It's the behind-the-scenes operations that ensure everything on the front end runs smoothly. Today, we're going to zero in on the first aspect, the front-end development. So, sit back, relax, and prepare to dive into the fascinating world of web development. In the next few minutes, focus on the front-end aspect of web development. At the heart of every web page lies the trio: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Picture a beautiful house. HTML, or hypertext markup language, is the blueprint of that house. It sets the structure, defining the walls, doors, and windows. Just like how an architect plans the layout of a house, HTML outlines the structure of a web page. It's the backbone, the skeleton that holds everything else in place. But a house isn't just walls and doors, right? We need color, furniture, and decor to bring it to life. That's where CSS, or cascading style sheets, steps in. It's the interior designer of our web page house. CSS adds style, setting the colors, fonts, and layout. It transforms the basic structure into something visually appealing, ensuring our web page isn't just functional but also aesthetically pleasing. Now, imagine if our house could interact with us. The lights dim when we watch a movie, the temperature adjusts to our comfort, and the doors lock themselves at night. That's JavaScript. It's the functionality, the smart home system of our web page house. JavaScript adds interactive elements, making our web page dynamic and responsive. It enables features like form submissions, animations, and user interactions. Mastering these three languages, HTML for structure, CSS for style, and JavaScript for interactivity, forms the foundation of front-end web development. They're the building blocks, the essential tools in your web development toolkit. Now that we know the core languages, next let's discuss how to utilize them. Scene script. How does one go about building a website's front end, you may wonder? Well, the process is quite straightforward, yet intricate. First, we start with creating a wireframe or a design mock-up. Think of it as a blueprint for your website. This gives you an outline of where everything will go on the page. It's the skeleton of your website, if you will, and it helps to visualize the structure before diving into coding. Next, we move on to building the HTML structure. HTML, or hypertext markup language, is the backbone of any web page. It's what gives your website structure and content. We use HTML to create various elements like headings, paragraphs, links, and images. Once we have the HTML structure ready, we move on to the next step, styling with CSS. CSS, or cascading style sheets, is what makes your website look good. It takes the basic HTML structure and adds colors, fonts, layouts, and more. It's like dressing up your website in its best attire. Finally, we add interactivity with JavaScript. JavaScript makes your website dynamic and interactive. It can make your web pages react to user actions like clicks or scrolls, and can even fetch data from servers to update content dynamically. The process can vary depending on the complexity of the project. Some projects might require more advanced techniques or additional tools. However, these 4 steps form the core of front-end development. And voila, you have your website's front-end ready. But remember, practice makes perfect. So, what have we learned in these short minutes? Well, first and foremost, we delved into the concept of web development, the intricate process of building and maintaining websites. It's an essential part of the digital world, creating the online spaces we visit every day. We then took a closer look at the front-end trio: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These 3 foundational languages are the building blocks of the web. HTML lays out the structure. CSS styles it to be visually appealing, while JavaScript adds interactive elements, making the web alive and dynamic. Finally, we walked through the process of front-end development. We explored how a website's design comes to life, starting from the initial design concept, coding, testing, all the way to deployment and maintenance. Web development may seem complex, but with patience, practice, and persistence, you can certainly master it. Keep learning, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep building.